Jensen from Vancouver, Canada. We had him on our live broadcast day. He had some unbelievable information about how Planet X is affecting the brightness of the planets, the gravitational pull, the impact upon the sun. I mean, all of these things are just incredible information that he shared with us today. And also the fact that we've had a major increase in natural disasters. From 1963 to 1993, the natural disasters globally went up 410%. And folks, I can tell you, in the last 24 years, it is rising even way more. We're breaking records. Also, volcanoes. In the last 30 years, the volcanic eruptions on the planet has went up 500%. In just the last 3 years, we've had 10 dormant volcanoes reawaken that had been dormant for hundreds of years. Also, earthquakes have increased 400% in the last 30 years as well. And just take Oklahoma, for instance. We were averaging, for 100 years, we averaged 2 to 3 earthquakes per year in the state of Oklahoma. Last year, we had 562 earthquakes. I mean, are you serious? And so these are some of the statistics, and this is the information that scientific researcher Ken Jensen brought to the table. Now, we have a 6.9 mega earthquake has hit Fiji, and about 3 hours ago, we're still waiting on some preliminary information. The good news is it was a 396 kilometers deep. What? Thank God it was that deep. But still, we're very concerned. And oh, by the way, I mean, earthquakes are happening in the 5 range everywhere across the globe daily. And there's no question that we're having something biblical is going on with the signs of the second coming of Christ. So we just had a powerful live broadcast. I'm live right now again at my YouTube channel. I wanted to bring this information forward. This is very powerful information. And many of our climatologists, and those who study volcanism, those who are studying all of the universe that's being shaken. Is Planet X doing this? I don't know. But something is happening. The heavens are definitely shaken. So whether God's using Planet X or not, that's up to him. But I can tell you this. The signs of the end times are here. The birthing pains are taking place. Matter of fact, we were having Ken Jensen on. He's in Vancouver Island, Canada. And he had an earthquake 2 hours before he was to come on the air. They had a 4.9 earthquake right where he was at. It's just like, are you serious? And then we have a 6.9 earthquake in Fiji. So anyway, the earth is shaking and quaking. The devil's back is breaking. My mind is aching. And we're not faking, folks. That's the last days we're living in. Certainly, you want to give your life to Jesus Christ. It's just going to get worse as time goes on. Keep a close eye on what's going on. Don't miss Sunday Night Live. Sunday Night Live, my guest, BP Earthwatch. We're going to be bringing this information to the table, plus everything else he has. And of course, Sunday is the solar eclipse of the sun. And it's going to be a total solar eclipse. But guess where's the best place to view it? Antarctica. And is that why the world leaders have been going down there and all these teams of scientists? Because are they getting down there so that when the solar eclipse takes place, that they'll be able to look past the sun with clarity with those high-powered observatory and Earth and telescopes they have down there? Are they trying to look at Planet X? Just something to think about. Something to think about. We'll talk to BP Earthwatch about that because that is the best location to be for this solar eclipse. And Monday, my guest will be John B. Wells, radio personality. John B. Wells. He's the host of his own radio show, of course, Caravan to Midnight. Most of you know him from his extensive career at Coast to Coast on AM. Anyway, he'll be our guest on Monday. Give your life to Jesus Christ, folks. The number one thing I want to say to you, get right with God because we're living in the last days. I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. We're certainly living in the last days. Get some coffee and calm down. Where's my cup? Where is my cup?
Are you serious? Are you serious? Is California sinking? What? Well, according to a report, Dabo77 has a great YouTube video about it. And let me share with you some information that's being confirmed by Russia today. There's been new satellite images showing that Central California is sinking by 1 to 2 feet a year. And this is according to NASA. These satellite radar data reveals that the excess pumping of groundwater in Central California and the prolonged drought have caused the state to sink as much as 2 feet in the last 2 years, threatening critical infrastructure. Matter of fact, California's Department of Water Resources commissioned NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab to collect and analyze data using airborne and satellite radar. An initial report of their findings was released in August of 2015 using sensor readings between 2006 and early 2015. The current report analyzes new radar images, folks, and it's showing that several troubled spots have been identified. Continue to subside at rates as high as 2 feet a year. Significant sinking going on. What? California, I've heard, California's going to break off into the ocean or sink into the ocean from earthquakes, but did we think the drought and the fracking is causing issues? Wow. Fresno, look, the report found substance intensified near the Tranquility in Fresno County during the past year, where the land surface was settled up to 20 inches in an area that extends 7 miles. So we're not joking, guys. This isn't just one sinkhole. I mean, we've been dealing with sinkholes, right? No. This is crustal displacement. And I had Mike from around the world on. I guess I'm going to have to bring him back because he said 6 weeks ago that there was going to be crustal displacement, where literally there would be not just only sinkholes, but the earth is pulling apart. And it's caused by several things. And of course, you got to say, what about Planet X? I don't know, okay? I just know this. We got sinkholes everywhere. We got volcanoes going off. We got extreme weather conditions. And we got California's sinking. California's sinking. Not California dreaming. Now, this is crazy. And oh, by the way, did you hear about all the gold in California? From all of the water that's roaring, and all of the dams and the spillways, all the gold in California. It's in a bank in the middle of Beverly Hills. That's right, it's somebody else's name. But if you're dreaming about California, it don't matter what you think about the rain. California's sinking. Oh, yes. It's crazy what's going on here. It's just crazy. It's insanity. It's madness. It's mayhem. Are you serious? Well, we'll give you a full report on all of this. Check out Dabo's report over at his YouTube channel. I'll just put the link there. You can go check it out. Dabo77. He does a good job. He really does. I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. We're certainly living, folks, in the last days. Are you serious? Are you serious? And the volcano in Italy, Mount Etna, eruption. Explosion. Now, this happened about 2 days ago, but the ash and the smoke, it's affecting air travel in Europe. And this thing isn't over. And by the way, the volcanic eruptions, we have dormant volcanoes now. 10 dormant volcanoes have reawakened this year. We have eruptions going on everywhere. You wouldn't believe it. How many are spewing or smoking, and occasionally we're having these types of eruptions. This one's huge. It's a volcanic warning. Panic in Sicily as Mount Etna blows its top, seriously, in a huge eruption in Italy. Now, Italy has been dealing with earthquakes all year. They've had the deadly earthquake that killed, not long ago, that killed about 300 and some people. They've had more earthquakes recently. Now Mount Etna explodes. There's a lot of rumbling, and some of the fault lines that are running through there are very volatile. As a matter of fact, I've heard BP Earthwatch and others, Mike from the World and others, Dutch Sense and others, talk about the fact that Italy is a very volatile, a lot of movement of magma underneath it, volcanic and earthquake. And then, of course, you have also risk even of tsunamis. Now, the lava cascading off of the mountain of Mount Etna, it is quite spectacular if you're in a safe area, and you can see the pictures from the distance if you're there, or if you can see it online. But these giant fountains of lava could be seen spouting through the volcano located in the island of Sicily. And it was just unbelievable how unbelievable this is. But you know, this is it. The earth is volatile. This is why there's sinkholes opening. This is why there's earthquakes in divers places. We're breaking records. Last year we had the most volcanic eruptions in a single year. We may break it this year. We got more dormant volcanoes awakening. The earthquakes are everywhere. The meteorites are increasing. Asteroids, near Earth objects going by, increasing at an exponential pace. The planets, there's a gravitational pull on all the planets and the moons and stars, the Earth even. As a matter of fact, sinkholes, and an alarming amount of sinkholes opening. So we're in a different situation here. We're in the end times. The apocalyptic events that are taking place are certainly prophesied in your Bible. And when Jesus said it, he wasn't just saying it to be saying it. He knew that whatever was going on in the spiritual world would be manifesting in the physical. And so we're seeing the shaking of the heavens and the earth. Anyway, be careful about travel. Keep in mind that there's a lot of fog and a lot of haze and a lot of smoke and ash. And also be careful about your breathing. You might want to wear those little masks when you're out walking around. And I heard Mike from around the world say about 4 years ago, he told us that there would be a time when it would be an ash environment on the earth. In other words, the air would be small particles of ash would just about be everywhere because of the amount of eruptions of volcanoes and the space dust that is also the small particles of space dust that is coming and falling upon the earth. And oh, by the way, our radiation levels last year went up 12.5%. So you have to understand, these are all part of the apocalyptic signs. Can I just give you one scripture that will help you understand it from a prophecy standpoint? It's in the book of Joel. If you go to Joel 2, you know, everybody talks about Joel 2 and Acts 2, how it's talking about the spiritual outpouring of God, and it is. But with it comes a physical manifestation. And this is what Joel said. In Joel 2, verse 28, he said these words, "And it shall come to pass afterward that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. Your sons and your daughters shall prophesy. Your old men shall dream dreams. Your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaidens in those days will I pour out my spirit." And here's what happens then in the physical realm. "And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord come. And it shall come to pass that whosoever shall call upon the name of the Lord shall be delivered. For in Mount Zion and in Jerusalem shall be deliverance, as the Lord has said, and in the remnant whom the Lord hath called." Give your life to Jesus Christ. We are living, folks, in the last days. The coming apocalypse is upon us. Are you serious? Are you serious? Radioactive! Radioactive! That's exactly what's going on right now. In many countries of the world, there's been major radioactive spikes, really. Is it Fukushima, or is it something much more concerning? Is radiation coming from deep space, the 5 waves of energy, or a combination of all these things? You got 3 different things. You got Fukushima and radiation spills that may be taking place in other places of this world. You have gaping holes on the sun constantly allowing UV rays to come, solar winds, sending radioactive material. The sun is heating up, of course, very volatile. And then, of course, there is the 5 waves of energy, which are certainly bringing gamma rays. I mean, everybody's confirming that, NASA and all the scientists. Here's a report that we have. I want to think, word on the street got us some information. I've seen a map of all these countries in Europe that have high levels of radiation. But I want to read something that ENE News is reporting. 2 days ago, radioactive iodine-131, an unknown origin, was detected over large areas of Europe. Since the isotope has a half-life of only 8 days, the detection is proof of a rather recent release. Where the radioactivity is coming from is still a mystery. Now, iodine-131 in the air could come from an incident with a nuclear reactor. Someone out there knows why the radioactivity was spread over larger areas of Europe. Nuclear installations like in Russia, maybe. Now, the source could as well come from even further installations, all right? Now, that's one option here, folks, is did this happen from a nuclear spill in one of the European nations or even in Russia, and no one's telling us. Now, there's also preliminary reports saying that there was they found spikes of iodine-131 you found in Norway, northern Norway, also in Finland, Poland, the Czech Republic, Germany, France, and Spain. Okay, significant spikes of radioactive conditions. All right. Now, there's also a report out there that says, and this is by the Avianist, says along with monitoring nuke testing, the WC-135 is used to track radioactive activity as it happens after Chernobyl nuclear plant disaster back in the Soviet Union of 1986. Fukushima's incident, of course, occurred back on 3/11/11 back in 2011. And as of yet, there's been no official statement from the U.S. military about the reasons why such nuclear research aircraft was deployed. However, many sources suggest that aircraft was tasked with investigating the spike in iodine levels detected in Northern Europe since the beginning of January of this year. And no one seems to know the reason behind these iodine-131 releases. Matter of fact, there's a mystery here. Radiation spikes being detected in many countries of Europe. The United States military is secretly deploying nuclear sniffer aircraft. Radioactivity levels have quadrupled, according to officials. Iodine-131 is a proof of rather recent releases, the origin of which is still unknown. I'm still saying it. I don't think it is a nuclear reactor meltdown somewhere in one of the European nations or somewhere out in the middle of Russia somewhere. I really think we're dealing with the gamma rays, the ultraviolet rays, but mostly gamma rays from the 5 waves of energy. And that's exactly what Mike from around the world and others have told us would take place. Matter of fact, in 2016, we had a global spike of radioactivity on this planet by 12.5% increase from the year before. That's unheard of. That's off the charts insanity. That can't be from just one small leak somewhere. That can't even be from Fukushima. Not globally. Something else. Are you serious? Give your life to Jesus Christ. Is this what the Bible means by saying men's hearts would fail them for fear, for looking after those things that are coming upon the earth, for the powers of heaven are being shaken? Are you serious? Give your life to Jesus Christ, because he's coming. And I mean, he is coming soon. Are you saved?
From Vancouver, Canada. We had him on our live broadcast day. He had some unbelievable information about how Planet X is affecting the brightness of the planets, the gravitational pull, the impact upon the sun. I mean, all of these things are just incredible information that he shared with us today. And also the fact that we've had a major increase in natural disasters. From 1963 to 1993, the natural disasters globally went up 410%. And folks, I can tell you, in the last 24 years, it is rising even way more. We're breaking records. Also, volcanoes. In the last 30 years, the volcanic eruptions on the planet has went up 500%. In just the last 3 years, we've had 10 dormant volcanoes reawaken that had been dormant for hundreds of years. Also, earthquakes have increased 400% in the last 30 years as well. And just take Oklahoma, for instance. We were averaging, for 100 years, we averaged 2 to 3 earthquakes per year in the state of Oklahoma. Last year, we had 562 earthquakes. I mean, are you serious? And so these are some of the statistics, and this is the information that scientific researcher Ken Jensen brought to the table. Now, we have a 6.9 mega earthquake has hit Fiji, and about 3 hours ago, we're still waiting on some preliminary information. The good news is it was a 396 kilometers deep. What? Thank God it was that deep. But still, we're very concerned. And oh, by the way, I mean, earthquakes are happening in the 5 range everywhere across the globe daily. And there's no question that we're having something biblical is going on with the signs of the second coming of Christ. So we just had a powerful live broadcast. I'm live right now again at my YouTube channel. I wanted to bring this information forward. This is very powerful information. And many of our climatologists, and those who study volcanism, those who are studying all of the universe that's being shaken, is Planet X doing this? I don't know. But something is happening. The heavens are definitely shaken. So whether God